In this video, I'm going to break down for you the three unusual billion-dollar hires. In fact, the three critical hires that we actually utilized to help build a $3 billion business in under 5 years. Hey, my name is Sharran Srivatsaa. I serve as the president of REAL. It's the fastest growing publicly traded real estate brokerage in the world. And in this episode, I'm going to actually show you the three critical hires that we utilized in our past business to actually build a $1 billion business in under 5 years. I'm going to break down each of the roles for you and how you can implement them in your business right away. It all starts right now. All right, in this episode, I want to tell you about three unusual billion-dollar hires. These are actually the three critical roles that helped us build a $3 billion business. I'm not going to give you exactly what they are, how we found them, and how we actually installed them into our business. Now, let me tell you how all of this came about. We had a chance to build a business in the real estate space from one office and roughly about 33 agents to 22 offices and 700 agents. We grew the business 10x in 5 years, so from 300 million to 3.4 billion, and then actually sold it to a publicly traded company called Douglas Elliman. And in this process of building this extremely large enterprise, we look back and realize that there were three unusual hires that the average company doesn't actually prioritize or even want to make. And I actually want to tell you what they are and give them to you. Here are the three. The first one I call the Efficiency Accelerator. The second one I call the Expectation Aligner. And the third one I call the Execution Controller. You're like, Sharran, just give me the exact roles. And I want to give it to you. But I'm going to break down each of those roles for you, how we found them, and how you can actually even use one or all of them in your business that can give you like insane scale right away. A couple of things to note are important here. Whenever we're not talking about executive hires. We're talking about key tactical people. And I've talked to executive recruiters. I've talked to investors in our own business. And they've always told me that an executive hire, a C-level hire, a core hire is probably a 50-50 chance of working out. Think about that for a second. A 50-50 chance of working out. And what does that actually mean? There's a good chance that there's only a 50% chance that this hire actually does the job that they do, has the focus and the impact that they can potentially have in your business overall. 50-50 chance, right? But can you actually have a tactical hire that can give you a significantly better ROI on your investment? And that's what I want to tell you about today. Number two, I've heard this quote, and I tell you it is actually very, very true. There's only the square root of the people in your organization actually have the most amount of impact. So for very easy numbers, let's assume that there's 100 people in your organization. Only 10 of them are lifting and carrying the organization. The square root of 100 is 10. 10 times 10. Square root of 100. So if there were 64 people in your organization, a square root of 64 is roughly 8. Those 8 are the ones that are dramatically contributing to the organization's success overall. This is why I always think about it where, do we pick a person or do we pick a role? Do we pick a person or do we pick a role? And that's been the real tactical way of me thinking about it. And that came up with these three hires. Like, what are the 2 to 3 roles that you can have in your business that regardless of the person, if you just get the right role in place and you fill the role with the tactical person, could it dramatically change your business? And that's what I want to share with you. It's not about finding, this dream unicorn hire. It's about having these 3 roles in your business to give you insane clarity and focus overall. So let's jump into it. The first one is the Efficiency Accelerator. Who is this? Who or what is an Efficiency Accelerator? And in essence, they're just an automation specialist. Think about that for a second. They're just an automation specialist. Internally on our team, we call them a technical hacker. Somebody that you can say, I have this report. And then every day as the report gets updated, I just need to get an email with all the stats so that I can make a decision. Well, why? Why is that important? Well, if the report was manipulated in a certain way where all the related parties got the right email, instead of every person logging in, downloading the report, exporting it to Excel, figuring out the right data, and then understanding it, what if you could have an automation specialist that just did that for you. Automation specialists are worth their weight in gold. That's why this is a role, not just a person, because you can find one or even multiple people to do this overall. You can automate reporting, which is probably the best way to do this. If you can have somebody that just automates reporting, it completely changes the dashboard view that you have of your business. How about connecting systems? If you said, hey, I want someone that actually pays on Stripe, and then I wanted to send 3 emails. Well, you're like, Stripe has a standard email that goes out, but I want to actually make it a little bit more personal. How do I do that? If you had an automation specialist, they would figure out how to actually connect Stripe with your active campaign. Maybe they use Zapier to hook it up. You don't have to know that, but you know now that when one trigger event happens, multiple things can happen overall. And having an automation specialist can do wonders for you. In fact, people may ask me, like, Sharran, where do you find an automation specialist? I'll tell you where I have found one. I've looked on Fiverr, but the best place that I have found an automation specialist by going to Zapier, and they're Zapier trained. I think they're called Zapier trained specialists. We'll look it up in the show notes below. Zapier certified specialists. If you're a Zapier certified specialist, you know how to actually automate everything. You know how to connect systems and work through those, which gives you insane efficiency overall. This also dramatically reduces labor, which you'll start to realize that a lot of people are in the organization doing a bunch of manual things, which is what's slowing people down, which is what's generating more errors overall. And while we were doing all of this, I remember we took on a project and we called it the 8th day week. We wanted to create in minutes an extra 8th day of work week where this automation specialist would just automate so many tasks that it felt like you had a full-time person just working an extra day of the week, just doing things for the business. Imagine that. Imagine a automated robot just working, doing all the things that were manual that needed to get done. And I want to give you a quote that I realized from all of this. I realized that when people talk about automation, it's not what you and I think. Automation is for amateurs automate for efficiency, but professionals automate for accuracy. I'll say that again. Amateurs automate for efficiency, but professionals automate for accuracy. And when you do that, your data, your results, your reporting, your triggering processes get done so well. And so it dramatically helps you scale because now you can handle incoming lead flow. Now you can handle appointment follow-up. Now you can handle onboarding. Now you can handle offboarding. Now you can handle reporting. Now you can handle birthday reminders. Now you can handle automated books and cards sent as a gift. Now you can handle payment errors and tasks that of a failed credit card. Small things that seem small, which at least seem like efficiency tasks, are actually not. They're actually accuracy tasks. So one of my favorite hires that you can have in an organization is an efficiency accelerator, or in essence, an automation specialist. You can hire him or her part-time just to do an audit of your business. And the smallest things that they can do to put in place today can have a large scale impact in the future. So number 1, the efficiency accelerator. Here's number 2, the expectation aligner. And to me, an expectation aligner is no more than a onboarding specialist. I will tell you this, the number 1 cause of churn in any organization, churn as in either clients leaving your program or your company or what have you, or even your employees leaving your company overall, is straight up is churn. Churn is when people come in, they're promised a dream, and then they actually leave. And the number 1 cause of churn is poor onboarding. It's not poor hiring, it's not the sales process, it's not expectation setting, it's poor onboarding. Because what we do is we sell people the dream and then we service the nightmare. We sell people the dream and then we service the nightmare. And you don't want to do that. What you want to do is you want to have a way in which whatever was sold on the front end, the dream to actually work here, the dream to be our clients, the dream to be our vendors, the dream to be our partners, it is actually aligned really well because you're not lying. You just want the onboarding to work well. And what a lot of salespeople do, or a sales-based organization will do, they'll just go sell it. And once it's sold, and then they just service a nightmare at the end. I will tell you this, when you can have one dedicated person or a role that just stops and thinks about onboarding, it's really powerful. Now let me give you a quick suggestion that I like to do. I like to draw a straight line, right? And I like the onboarding specialist to write this down and show me this roadmap with this straight line. And the straight line, everything that happens above the line is what the client or the the client or the new employee has to do. Everything below the line is what we have to do to service that client. And I say, what are all the things that we have to do in onboarding to make sure that the client has a great experience, right? When you write that down, you start to realize what is under our control and what is not under our control. And just by having that as a roadmap, this person, this expectation aligner, this onboarding specialist pays for their role 10 times over with one client or one employee, just by retaining them longer, making them more happier, giving them a better experience overall. So number 2 is the expectation aligner, which is having a great onboarding specialist to run to make sure your promise of the dream does not have to service the nightmare overall. That's number 2, the expectation aligner. Here's number 3. Number 3 is the execution controller. And here's what a lot of people think. What I've seen is that if you don't have a project management specialist, somebody's entire job is not to do the work, is to actually manage the work. Why was middle management ever invented? Middle management was invented in large companies to actually make sure that the work got managed. But we don't need 400 middle managers. We just need 1 or 2 people to just manage all the tasks, like a project manager. Project managers are amazing because it sounds like they don't do work, but they ensure that the work gets done. I'll say it again. It sounds like they don't do work, they just manage the project, but it ensures that the work gets done. What they do is they dispassionately look at the project and say, you know what? Sharran said he'd give me that on Monday. Sharran didn't give it to me on Monday. I can be like, hey, Sharran, where's the thing that you told me that you'd give me? It's good accountability. Otherwise, people will not do it. They get weirded out asking for it otherwise, right? So having a project manager in place is really powerful. I've actually, I only hire project management specialists with the PMP designation. They've gone through some kind of project management professional certification. They're really good. They show up in meetings. They take great meeting notes. They build Gantt charts. They ensure who is responsible for what. They want which project has which dependency in another project. Is one blocking another? And if I ever have a question, I just call the project manager. I don't just write an email to everybody on the team and say, "Can someone give you an update about something?" No. Instead of doing that, I just pick the project manager. Hey, how far along is so-and-so project? And that person can tell me, hey, that project is 80% done. It's scheduled for delivery on April 15th. And Sharran, you're blocking because you haven't reviewed it. That's really powerful because having a project management specialist, which is an execution controller, is your insurance policy for all the projects actually being delivered on time. The transparency around that is good because now the teams can't hide behind excuses. Whatever everyone says, they have to deliver, because when they do deliver it, the project management board looks clean and looks clear. This also allows us to see what projects we have, what we can say yes to, what we can say no to. We can also see if you have a project management specialist to run ROI analysis on, hey, was that project even worthwhile doing? Or did we do it because the founder and CEO had this amazing idea, and founders and CEOs just want stuff done and they do all this stuff and it really doesn't add any value to the bottom line. It forces us to become better entrepreneurs every single time, right? That's why this is really good. So having them as a single point of contact, having them to show up in meetings, having them just ask for transparency and accountability, having them not actually push anyone's buttons and say, hey, I'm just asking, when is this due? And when someone gives them when it's due, they actually manage it. That's what I call the execution controller. Those are the 3 folks, right? And I'll give you one more to wrap this up. Efficiency Accelerator, having an automation specialist, expectation aligner, having an onboarding specialist, and an execution controller, having a project management specialist. Those 3 roles, if you can have in your organization, just those 3 roles, it'll change the nature of an organization forever. In fact, the coolest part about it is this: you only need one of them. You only need one of each of them, and none of these specialists are actually expensive. They are very good functionally at their job. You could actually get them a la carte as in a consultant basis or a part-time basis and still have insane productivity injected into your organization. These were like 3 unusual billion-dollar hires that we had. Hey, by the way, if you're in the real estate business in any way, I put together a lot of these, which is 7 of my most money-making trainings, if you will. It's called the Top Agent Power Pack. So you can go to topagentpowerpack.com. I'll link it down below if that's helpful to you. I talk about how to use each of these roles in your business and how we've done it in the past, and maybe it'll help you too. Totally free, nothing here to sell you. So let me recap for you really quick. Number 1, amateurs automate for efficiency, professionals automate for accuracy. So number 1, getting a automation specialist is insanely powerful. Number 2, the number 1 cause of churn in your business is poor onboarding. So if you can have a great onboarding specialist, you will have a significantly much more loyal, much more robust, much more contributing organization. And number three, you want to make sure that you want great execution and nothing falls through the cracks. So you want an insurance policy for all your projects, and that is a project management specialist. When you can have these three roles in your business, powerful things start to happen. So if you liked any of this, can you do me a favor? Can you just take a quick screenshot? Because I have no idea. Take a quick screenshot and just post it on social media, tag me. That way I will know that this was good for you. So if this is helpful to you, just take a screenshot, tag it. That way I'll know that this was helpful, and I will make more videos like this in the future. Thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one.